Okay, I'm going to try to get into this quick. I've been reading a book called The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History by Thomas Woods. It looks like there's a quote from Ron Paul on the cover there. I didn't realize that was the case. Sorry, I look a little scruffy. I've been transitioning. Not, I'm not changing sexes. I'm just growing a little bit of some facial hair. That cracked me up for a minute. Anyway, reading this book, The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History, has caused me. There was a quote, and the quote was, let's see here. The quote was by Joseph Sorbrun. Joseph Sorbrun. So from Wikipedia, it tells you a little bit of his life. It says that Sorbrun was an American journalist, National Review magazine. It looks like he gets fired from the National Review at some point. He's dead. He died at 64 years old, I think, back in 2010. But anyway, it's interesting that he loses his job because of things that he says that are considered to be anti-Semitic. He says he's not a Holocaust denier. Blah blah blah. I just read about him after I heard the quote, but I want to sing the quote to you. I want to read the quote to you because I thought it was fascinating, and I'm curious as to what people think about it. That's, of course, I Google the quote and boom, it pops up. Here's the quote: "Need now means wanting someone else's money. Greed means wanting to keep your own. Compassion is where when a politician arranges the transfer. Need now means wanting someone else's money. Greed means wanting to keep your own. Compassion is when a politician arranges the transfer." So my friends who would scream, "Josh is a liberal, you're a bleeding heart liberal," and I would say I'm absolutely not, they would argue that that's what I'm calling for. I call often for politicians to arrange the transfer from the rich to the poor. And I guess if you are not paying attention, that's what you would think I'm saying. But I'm not. I'm not in favor of that. That's not what I'm saying. Do I think we should have universal health care in the United States of America? Yeah, I think we're in a situation where that might be our only option. But um, but I'm not calling for that because I believe that people that with wealth we should steal from them and give to the poor. I'm calling for universal health care because we already take from the wealthy and we already give to someone else. The problem is what we're doing is we're taking from the wealthy and we're giving to a healthcare system that is horrible. It's a horrible system the way we do things. I'm not talking about any people, but I'm talking about the way the money goes through the system and through the insurance and all of that stuff. We end up spending more money than we would if we just provided universal health care. And I could be wrong about that, but that's my opinion. That's my thought for the moment. I want to read this passage today. I want us to talk about 2 Thessalonians 3, 6 through 15. And of course, I'm coming to this passage because there's a line in here that says, if you don't work, you don't eat. And I got to thinking, where did that passage come from? If you don't work, you don't eat. Where did that idea come from? What's the context of that word? Who said it? Is it the kind of statement that we should lend a lot of support and respect to or not? Well, let's first of all consider who said it. It is not necessarily, it's probably not the Apostle Paul. It probably was not Paul that wrote this. And then when you look at the context of the text, there are some lines in this passage that make me want to go, screw it, throw it all out, it's garbage. But I wouldn't throw it all out because that's not the way we treat literature. We treat literature in a way that we read some, we take some that we like, and we take some that doesn't fit. We take some truth, we chew on the good, we throw out the bones. So that's what we're going to do with this passage today. We're gonna eat the meat, chew out the bones, and we're gonna go right straight through it. Let me read it to you here. Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you keep away from every brother who leads an unruly life and not according to the tradition which you received from us. Let me just stop there because this book passage is kind of bookend by some lines that I think are just wrong. I flat out disagree with these concepts. First of all, people who lead an unruly life and don't live according to the tradition that we accept, that we grew up with, that we've been given. If we keep away from them, if we separate from them, it's insane. That doesn't align with the rest of these of the message of Christ. It doesn't align with the rest of the 66 books of the Bible. This is a concept. It aligns with some, but then there's also places where we have to be involved with these people. We have to love these people. We have to invite them in. We have to bring them in. We have to do all of these things to connect with them. So I'm never, ever, ever going to encourage shunning. That's not who I am. That's not what I would call for. And I don't believe that's the message in the heart of Christ. So you're not going to see me encouraging shunning. I don't even unfriend Facebook friends. I unfriended somebody yesterday. They sent me a friend request. I accepted it, and then I started getting ping, 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 ping. They were trying to sell me some kind of system to buy government lottery. It was a fake account. It was a fake profile. It was a lie. So I quickly unfriended them. But when I'm talking to another human being, no matter how nasty or horrible or what they say, I choose not to unfriend them. I have a friend. I don't know if he would consider me a friend or not, but when we're cordial when we run into each other, but politically and theologically, we're everything I say, he just wants to throw an argument, a fight with. And so I haven't unfriended him, but I have stopped responding to those comments because there's just no value. We don't go anywhere. I try to have a two-way conversation, and he just wants to throw accusations and point fingers and ask nasty questions that just go nowhere. So I don't shun him, but in the political, in the Facebook arena, I just don't respond to those comments anymore. But shunning, I think, is a mistake. So this passage is kind of booked in by shun, 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 shun. Look at verse 14. If anyone does not obey our instructions in this letter, take special note of that person and do not associate with him, so that he will be put to shame. I'm not a fan of that. Don't accept it. Don't like that idea. Let's go on. 4. You yourselves know how you ought to follow our example, because we did not act in an undisciplined manner among you, nor did we eat anyone's bread without paying for it. So first of all, I think shunning is bullshit. I was trying to think how do I say that without saying it. Bovine fecal matter. I think shunning is bovine fecal matter. 1. Number 2, this idea here about example. For you yourselves know how you ought to follow our example. I think being an example is a great thing, but that next line, I would say pride is repulsive, because we did not act in an undisciplined manner among you, nor did we eat anyone's bread without paying for it. That's just so nasty. It's so prideful. It's so horrible. That's the attitude from the far right, which way's right on the video screen, I don't know, far right conservatives who say, well, I don't want anything from anybody. Well, you're full of crap. You take a lot of things from a lot of people. When you drive on the roads, you're taking those dollars were used to provide you a road. Everything you do in America today is you taking from people in such a way that we are a communal nation that has done things for one another. And so we got to stop with this. Oh, I never did that. It's bullcrap. You did too. So don't give me this pride about I never ate anyone's bread without paying for it. You slept in somebody's bed. You walked on somebody's roads. You do benefit from other people's labor. So we need to get over that pride. And the other thing, sometimes eating somebody's bread when you didn't pay for it it's a reciprocal sign of hospitality. So going into somebody's house, sometimes we show up at a cookout or an event where we've been invited, and we bring something, and we have to accept I'm bringing something to the table, but they're providing so much more. We went to some friend's house over the 4th of July, on the 3rd of July, and what we brought was measly little offering, but they provided an abundance. And my wife and I were talking, we need to reciprocate. We need to do that for them as well. We need to have them over because these are people we love and we want to serve them. We want to share with them. But at the same time, this prideful saying, "I've never eaten anybody's bread without paying for it," that's insane. It's not logical. It's not real, and it's not friendship. It's not relationship. But that example thing is important. Example thing is important. Let's go on. But with labor and hardship, we kept working night and day so that we would not be a burden to any of you, not because we do not have the right to this, but in order to offer ourselves as a model for you so that you would follow our example. Model, example. These are great things. Be a model. Be an example. Live that. Don't brag about it, but live it. Do it. Be an example. Working hard night and day. It's not something that you do and you go, "Hey, I worked hard night and day and I served you." No. Working hard night and day is serving me. It's healthy and happy to work hard. It's healthy and happy to work hard. Oh, there's some kind of connection between obesity and laziness. There's some kind of connection between hard work and healthy and health. I have a friend who I care about. I'm trying to help him, but I want to say laziness is going to lead to an unhealthy lifestyle, and it's going to kill you. Your life is going to be shortened. I had a stent put in my LAD, left anterior descending artery, because it was 99.7% blocked. What did I weigh when that happened? 360 pounds. 360 pounds. Now, was I lazy? No, I don't think so. I mean, I was a hard worker. But you know what? I did get out of the bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, or between 7 and 7:30, and I rushed to the office by 8 o'clock, 8:30, and then I worked a normal day, and I ate really poorly at night, and I didn't exercise, and I realized that led to a time in my life where I was 360 pounds and I was unhealthy. I worked hard when I worked, but I didn't. My schedule wasn't right. My rhythm wasn't right. Today I was up at 5:05, 5:07 this morning, and I went to the gym and I exercised and I ran some laps and I played basketball and I came home and I took a shower and I got in and I make these videos before my work day even starts, and then my work day starts and I work hard, and then in the evenings, if I go home and I end up going and playing basketball with the kids, I don't eat unhealthy. But if I go home and do nothing in the evening between 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, I usually sit there and snack and eat. And I find myself going, this is not healthy. So I got to get up. I got to do something. Go walk the dogs, exercise, work in the yard, move some rock. I got all kinds of projects to be doing. There's no reason for me to be 360 pounds ever again. But it's healthy and happy to work. It's healthy and happy to work. I don't know how many times I need to say that. It's healthy and happy to work. You're not working for somebody else. Don't brag about it. It's for you. You get better. You get healthier. You're happier when you work. Let's go on. For even when we were with you, we used to give you this order. If anyone is not willing to work, then he is not to eat either. Whoa, that's pretty harsh. First of all, we're going to shun people, and then if they don't work, we're going to feed them, we're going to starve them to death, and then we're going to shun them somewhere. That's not the message of Christ. That's one of the reasons I don't think Paul wrote this letter. It just, yuck, it's horrible. Although Paul wasn't perfect, but this is terrible. Yet, at the same time, there might need to be some kind of system to where you are rewarded. Let me see if I can figure this out. How do we do this? How can we say, if you don't work, you don't eat steak and prime rib, and you don't eat out, and you don't get to go to the restaurant, and you don't get to have people serve you? How do we say that? And then at the same time say, but we're going to feed people who are starving. We're not going to let somebody starve in our presence. That's just not an option. One of the things that we do at A Place to Talk, and I'm not bragging about this. This is honestly the simplest way I can figure out to be both giving and not not supporting a lifestyle of laziness. Well, we make these meals. We package these meals. They involve rice and beans and soy and some chicken flavoring, some chicken fat, and they're nutritious. They will feed you. They're not very tasty. You basically take this package. It makes 6 meals. You pour it in a pot of water. You boil it. You cook it, and you eat it. And it's okay. It's just okay. I can eat it. If I had to eat it every day for 7 days a week, I'd probably get a job. Does that make sense? If I had to eat this 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, I would probably figure out a way to buy something better. I would get a job. And that's what happens. Literally have possession. We have right now probably 6,000, 7,000 meals. If anybody's hungry in our area, we're not going to ship them to you, but if anybody's hungry in our area, call us, come by. We'll feed you. We'll give you enough food for a week. We'll give you enough food to feed your family for a week. We don't want you to starve. We want to make sure you eat. But if you eat this food for a week, it might motivate you to get a job because you don't want to eat this food for 2 weeks. It's not that good. It's nutritious. It'll keep you alive. The problem we have in America is this weird connection between obesity and laziness. And sometimes people say, well, they're surely not poor. They're fat. They're obese. They're overweight. Well, actually in America today, it's easier to eat unhealthy. It's cheaper to eat unhealthy than it is to eat healthy. You go to the drive-through, you'll see the salads are $7 and the burgers are 99 cents. So can you be obese and poor in America? Yeah, it's more likely that you would be obese and poor. Those things seem to go together than to be healthy and poor. It just they just don't work. And so anyway, there's a problem there. But so do I agree with 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 10? Yes and no. Absolutely not. And yes. Okay, let's go on. I put it in here that so there's this is not just about the terribly lazy. There are theologians out there who work hard. They're hard researching and studying, and they're intelligent. And they've been to school and they've got the education, and yet, but their education and their intelligence they haven't figured out a way to monetize it, to make it work in such a way that it feeds their family. And so there's some out there that are constantly begging, please support my work. If you have to say, please support my work, you're doing something wrong in the monetization of this information. Figure out a better way. There was in my community, in a local area, there was a preacher that came in, and he's preaching at a big church, and he's speaking every Sunday. And if you listen to the videos, and you can just hit play on YouTube or Facebook and watch 30 seconds of this sermon, and it was over and over and over and over, money. We got to bring in the offerings. If you love Jesus, bring it. I mean, it was just blah, 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 blah. If you're a theologian or a pastor or a staff member and you're constantly begging for money, you're doing something wrong in your ministry. There's got to be a way to make to provide a good service in such a way that will be financially supported. And if it involves begging for money every week, then you're doing something wrong to start with. That's not the way it should work. Okay. There's also a generation of laziness. We have come to a time in American history where it works really well for a person to, live on food stamps, live on the system, somehow live in the house of somebody who loves them and not pay their bills, not support themselves. Let me say this as nicely as I can. That lifestyle will kill you. That lifestyle will destroy you. That lifestyle will take away all of your confidence, all your self-respect, all of your humanity. Humanity, we were designed, we were created to work. Now, maybe there wasn't the plan for there to be so many challenges to our work, like the thorns and the thistles. I mean, maybe that's what that poetry is talking about. But we're designed to work. We're created to live, and creation and building houses and building, making videos and doing other things. I'm not making any money from these videos. I do these because I love it. But when I turn this video off, I'm going to go to work, and I'll work for the next 8 hours, and sometimes I'll work through lunch, and sometimes I'll work through dinner, and sometimes my wife will say, "Are you going to ever come home?" And I will. I'll be there, and as soon as I can, and when I finish with my work, I turn it off, and then I do some other things, and then I get some sleep, and I'll get up and do some exercise. And I'm not bragging about me. I'm telling you that I am happiest, I am healthiest when I'm creating, when I'm working. So, for we hear that some among you are leading an undisciplined life, doing no work at all, but acting like busybodies. I read that and I thought, oh, yuck. Now such persons we command and exhort in the Lord Jesus Christ to work in a quiet fashion and eat your own bread. Shut up, get a job, and eat your own bread. I wonder how often that busybody is, quote unquote, the pastor type. There are, I'm friends with a lot of preacher types out there. And there's a lot of preacher types out there that are going, I need a job. I need a church that'll support me and provide for me. And I think, get a job, do something else. You can do ministry. You can serve people. You can get up at 7 o'clock and make videos and read passages of scripture and study it. You can do all of that and have another job too if you want to. Now, will you do that all your life? I don't know. There may be some day that I don't work a job, but I will always get up I don't want to ever retire. I don't want to ever quit. I want to keep working and keep doing and keep creating and keep serving and keep helping people. And I love being a marketing consultant. I love helping people, grow their customer base and make more money. And I love helping people buy things that they need at a great price, at a fair price, and get them in a convenient manner. I love my job, but I also love serving people and teaching and making videos and reading scripture and having discussions and all of those kind of things. And so I'm going to keep doing it all. But I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that's how I have life. That's how I'm happy. I'm happiest when I'm working and when I'm serving. Okay. Now such persons we command and exhort in the Lord Jesus Christ to shut up and eat your own bread. Oh, that's so funny. But as for you, brethren, do not grow weary of doing good. Don't grow weary of doing good. Let me wrap this up. Shunning is bovine fecal matter. It's bull crap. I'm not a fan of shunning. I'm not a fan of pride. Pride is repulsive. Hard work is hard. Work. I'm encouraging you to work. And hard work is healthy and happy. This is healthy and happy. Don't brag about it. It's how you're happy. It's what you do. It's what you enjoy doing. Being an example is always the way to go. Always the way to go. Stop telling people what to do. Just do it. Do it and help people see how you do it. Beware of pastors who are professional busybodies. And you say, Josh, why are you picking on pastors? Well, it's just funny to me that in some scenarios, there are, you got those busybodies in the church, and sometimes they end up slowly moving up the ranks until they're the pastor of the congregation. I don't love the word pastor because I think that it's typically a teacher, leader, and a father, and those are three things Jesus told us not to call anybody on earth. There's a connection between working and eating. There should be a connection between working and eating. There's also a connection between obesity and hard work, or laziness and obesity. I should have said obesity and laziness. I say all that to say, hey, well, look, I kind of want to go back to that. Quote that kind of spurred this conversation in my mind. Need means wanting someone else's money. I'd like to hear some comments about what you think about this. Need means wanting someone else's money. Now means wanting someone else's money. Greed now means wanting to keep your own. And compassion is when a politician arranges the transfer. I'm not in favor of that kind of government, but I am in favor of helping people and serving them. We got to be smart about how we help people. All right, too long of a video. Let's stop now.